We are back at the bottom of the hour now with breaking news where Lee County sheriffs detailed the horrific impact of Hurricane Ian. Now he is estimating deaths in his county are in the hundreds. We still don't know an exact number at this time, but again, that number is believed to be hundreds of people lost their lives in this monster of a storm.
Right now, you are taking a live look at Cocoa Beach, not far from the Kennedy Space Center. Ian downgraded to a tropical storm earlier this morning. As reported, it made landfall in Florida as a strong Category 4 storm. It came ashore, flooding streets, buildings, and knocking out power to more than 2 million people in the state. And happening today, President Biden is planning to see the government's response to Hurricane Ian firsthand. The president will visit FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, and its headquarters. The White House says FEMA has resources on the ground now with more than 1,300 workers in Florida.
All right, let's check in right now and with our chief meteorologist, Mike Iskevitz. We are going to be talking to some different people who have been there in the middle of it. They can give us a better idea. But for now, let's just talk about what's going on today with it. It has calmed down to that tropical storm, but still, it's got a powerful punch.
But when the Lee County Sheriff says that the deaths could be in the hundreds, that is a remarkable number, isn't it?
Okay, all right. Mike, we're going to put you back on hold for a moment because we do have someone who's in the middle of it all. This is just an ongoing situation, as any live TV event is. Fort Myers, again in Lee County, where hundreds expected to be dead right now. Let's check in with Fox Weather's Robert Ray. Robert, tell us what you're seeing there and what's around you. I'm sure it's just a horrific mess.
Yeah, good morning to you here from one of the marinas here in Fort Myers, and you see the devastation takes your breath away. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at a woman behind the camera right now who is doing this because that's your first reaction to a scene like this. The storm surge and the hurricane winds from Hurricane Ian creating these scenes here, huge docks that are concrete. The boats, giant vessels here that people owned, crumbled and pushed as if it was a toy on a living room floor, like nothing. These hurricane force winds that persisted all day yesterday and made its way into here, finally destroying people's property, businesses, vessels, flooding downtown Fort Myers. Literally, the streets in downtown historic Fort Myers at one point, not to use a cliche, but did look like a river with bars and restaurants just sitting right there. And now people here this morning, as the wind gusts continue actually, and the system moves up to the north, are monitoring and coming out here, and the search and rescue teams are going to be all over this, unfortunately. On the coastline, about 12 miles from where I'm at, is where much of the storm surge occurred. 12, 18 feet. We saw homes over there with the water at the rooftops, and mandatory evacuations were in place. If people did not evacuate, they were in harm's way. We started our day down there yesterday in the morning on the Gulf and saw the storm surge come in and left and went over the bridge and came to inland here 12 miles in because we knew what was coming. And this far in even, you saw the storm surge off of the bodies of water and the rivers here and the winds that persisted. And Lee County officials making the statement that they think perhaps there are hundreds dead. We will see. Unfortunately, that may be true, but we may have hope. It may not be the case in the aftermath of this. Sometimes there are numbers that come out, and we need to listen to what they say, but we also need to take a deep breath and hope that that is not the case. But they will be putting drones up when this wind stops. They will be sending helicopters out. They will be sending boats out. They will be sending man and woman power on the ground to look and try to rescue people out that need help. In scenes all over like this in Southwest Florida, this is an historic hurricane that has come in into this densely populated part of America, a beautiful part where so many people from around the country have relocated to retire or even just a better life. The news is right now as bad as it gets in the aftermath of a hurricane. And we certainly hope that in the coming hours and days that those numbers prove to not be right, and that people can hug their loved ones and thank God that they are alive, and know that property and everything else can be replaced, but your heartbeat can't.
Robert, it's just surreal to take a look at where you are. It looks like a movie set, and just to think of the lives that are shattered by this. And I'm wondering if that's what it looks like right there. What do homes look like? Have you been able to get out and get a sense? Because when we hear about all these people who perhaps have lost their lives, I'm wondering if they were trapped in their homes or are roofs ripped off. What does that feel and look like?
That's a really good question. And to be honest with you, we have not been able to get to the shore yet. It just, you know, when we came out this morning, it was dark, and those bridges over there, from what we understand, are still impassable at this point. I know that search and rescue and officials are going over there for sure to all those coastal areas, and we will eventually, and perhaps even today. But to your point, yes, those homes that are on those coastal areas and those keys, those barrier islands, so to speak, they definitely took that surge, and we saw some of the visuals from people's you know, home cameras and stuff like that, where the water was up to the roofs. And if you were in there, if a person was in there, I just don't know how you could get out, especially with the fact that the winds were gusting and so violent and pushing all the debris around. You know, a nightmare is the best word.
Yeah, as you said, just as bad as it can get after a storm. It's just so devastating.
Yeah, thank you, Robert Ray. Fox Weather.
All right, let's get to our chief meteorologist, Mike. Now, I'm almost just speechless, Mike, just looking at that and thinking of what's to come and the cleanup that's to come, and thankful that Houstonians are heading there to help and make a difference.
Yeah, you know, it brings to mind storms like when we had Hurricane Ike, where we had some similar sites, you know, down on the Gulf Freeway, where, you know, you had boats that had come up out of Galveston Bay and so forth. But this one, you know, the wind speeds were actually much higher with this than even with Ike with us. But, you know, storm surge historically is the biggest killer. You know, you think about the 1900, the Great Galveston Hurricane, with an estimated 6,000 to 10,000 people who were killed. Of course, we have much more warning these days than we did back then, but it's a similar type of situation. This is a look back, not right now, but this was yesterday between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. with the storm coming ashore. The highest winds there around Fort Myers, but a really significant storm surge from around Sanibel Island, Marco Island, up through Naples, and heading up to around Punta Gorda, Florida, where they had some of the highest winds. Now the storm is on the other side of the state. It brought actually really high winds to Orlando. They had winds above 70 miles per hour. And now the center of Tropical Storm Ian is directly over NASA. They're on Cape Canaveral. So they're actually sort of in the ragged eye of the system right now. From here, it's going to make its way most likely back over the water, where it could strengthen before moving toward the Carolinas. All right.